Good afternoon, and thank you for being here today. Today we're going to learn about how to create an effective presentation for an adult learner. What is an adult learner? Well, you're probably familiar with pedagogy, which is how children learn, but andragogy is how adults learn. And so today we're going to go over how adults learn and how to use that information to be an effective presenter. Malcolm Knowles is an educator who came up with 5 characteristics of adult learners. The first was that adult learners are self-directed. They don't need to be led along by an instructor every step of the way. They can be more independent in how they learn. Also, adult learners are more ready to learn based on their social roles. If you're a teacher, you want to learn about good teaching. If you're in human resources, you want to learn about state laws in relation to how you hire and that kind of thing. Adult learners they want to learn in order to problem solve, not just to memorize facts. They want to use what they know to solve the problems in the workplace. And one of the wonderful things about adult learners is that they have this amazing wealth of experience that they can use to build their learning on. And finally, adult learners have something that we wish all children had, which was an intrinsic motivation to learn. Whereas children might want to learn because they'll get a reward or a good grade, adult learners will like to learn just for the sake of learning and having the information. So why would you want to use these principles when teaching adult learners? Well, first of all, it allows you to meet these learners where they're at. You don't have to start from the beginning. Sometimes they come in with knowledge already, and you can start there, and you can save time and be more efficient. Also, when you use these principles, you can be more effective in allowing these people to use their time well, be self-reflective, create a positive environment, and it will want them to keep learning. When you don't use these principles, the dropout rates of adults in a program are much higher. Some good strategies for tapping into adult learners' previous experience would be to use an anticipation guide. I'll show you what this looks like. It's a set of statements, and before a presentation, you would give this to your learners, and they would check off whether they believe these statements are true or false. And then after the presentation, they would come over here, and they would check off whether these statements are true or false again, and compare and contrast of whether or not they were correct in their beliefs. And then notice what they've learned throughout the presentation. Another good idea to tap into previous experience for your adult learners is to give a survey. This way you can figure out what they already know, and you don't have to waste time teaching it to them in your presentation. Again, you can meet them where they're at, and you can start there. Another great thing about adult learners is that they want information and they want strategies that they can use right away, especially teachers. We like to use it the very next day in our classrooms. So one thing you can do is play a game while teaching your learners information. This is a great website called Genially, and you can go here and you can create a game with all these templates. And so in your presentation, not only would you be teaching adult learners about how to be effective presenters, but you would also be showing them how to use this template for content in their own classrooms. Another way that you can help adult learners is to do an activity that they can instantly transform with their own content the very next day. This would be like a think, pair, share, or a give one, get one activity. Now, whether we like to believe this or not, we do have bias when we interact with people, and as a presenter, it's extremely important to avoid this bias as much as possible. When you have bias in your presentation, you lose your audience. You might offend them or hurt them. You might make them feel excluded, makes them feel inferior, like you are better than they are. And if you do this, they're going to distrust you, and they're not going to want to learn what you have to say. So here are some ways that you can be a better presenter and eliminate the bias that you might have. So first of all, choose your words carefully. Be aware of the connotations of words. Two words can mean the same thing, but one might have a negative connotation while another might be positive. Choose the positively connotated word. Use language that is people first. We don't want to say that autistic boy. We want to say the boy with autism. That would be people first language. If you're using images in your presentation materials, make sure that those images represent your staff, their gender, their ethnicity, their cultures, to make everyone feel like they are included. No, not to feel like they are included, to show that they are included. And then avoid using adjectives when they're not pertinent to the information. An example would be, if you're writing an article for a school newsletter and you say, something about the school board and the stakeholders in the community, and you say something like, gay board member refuses to listen to parents speak at board meeting. Well, the fact that the board member is gay has absolutely nothing to do with the information or the topic, and that's exactly what you want to leave out of your presentation. Well, these are the references that I used today, and hopefully you learned a lot about how to present to adult learners. While this is not everything, I hope it's a good starting point for you. Thank you for being here.